Hello and welcome to Vocabulary Strategies. Today I have a special guest, or guinea pig. Her name is
Brooklyn.
And who are you?
Morrison.
You're my daughter. Brooklyn Morrison, you're my daughter. Okay. So, we're going to show some short interaction. We do have attachment because we are a little related to each other. So, she has to like me. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a particular word within a lesson. And this word is pupil. Okay? So I'm going to use this word in a sentence and I'm going to see what you think. Okay? The English teacher had a hard time with her pupils. Now, is this ambiguous? This is just one sentence. There has no context. There's nothing surrounding it, just that. Is there enough content or stuff surrounding this in this sentence to understand what it's saying? So what does this infer? The English teacher has a hard time with her pupils. What do you think that means? Just going off of that.
There's something wrong with her eyes.
Okay, good. Perfect. All right. So there's something wrong with her eyes. And that's her knowledge of the word pupil. Now, we're going to get into that a little bit. We're going to look at the morphology of the word. This is a noun, pupil. It's pupil. So, right? 2 syllables, pupil, right? So you want to say that?
Pupil.
Okay. Can you break it up? Like pew?
Pupil.
Good. There you go. Okay, good. Okay. Now, this could be considered a homograph. Now, I want you to understand what a homograph is. A homograph is when 2 or more words are spelled the same, but not necessarily pronounced the same or having different meanings or origins. So the idea is you're going to have a word that can have different meanings depending how it's used, right? Just to make it clear so we have a clear understanding of the word, which pupil can be used in different ways. So I want to give you an example. Digest, okay? And when you think of digest, what do you think of?
Your body, I think. Your body.
What is it? Okay, what about
your
your
immune
body?
system.
Okay, good. All right. So digest, it can be also a condensed version of some information. When you say digest, that means you're condensing a version of some, and to change food in the stomach into a form that it can be absorbed into your body. So yes, you're right. It's in some ways. So there's 2 different meanings. Again, how about bow or bow? Can you think of it?
Let's say, you just did something special in front of a crowd, so you're going to take a bow.
Okay, and then a bow?
A bow, basically something you put in your hair.
Okay, perfect. Now, how would you spell those?
B-O-W.
For both?
Bow, I think it's B-O-W-E.
No, you're right. They're both the same, and that's the thing with the homograph is they're both the same. Even though they have different meanings, the way they're used can be used differently. Also, bow can be used as a term for a boat, the front of a boat. It's called the bow. So there's actually 3 different ways you can use that same word. Again, how about when you hear the word desert? What do you think of?
Something very dry, hot, and sunny and bright.
Okay, perfect. And that's one of the definitions. Also, you could also say to desert is to leave. Like if someone deserts someone. So desert.
Oh yeah,
desert.
okay, so someone leaves someone. Yeah.
Right, you said the desert, so it's desert.
There's also dessert.
Right, there's also dessert, but that's spelled a little bit differently.
Yeah,
but dessert.
D-E-S-S-E-R.
But, yeah, right. So desert is spelled the same as to desert. So you could leave to leave when you say I'm deserting you. Same thing as desert. So they have the same meaning. That's the kind of idea of a homograph. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the definition. So you have I was giving you some examples of words. And now pupil, here's the first, it's a very basic definition, is also, you might not know this, a pupil is a student in a school. That's a very simplistic version of a pupil. Have you ever heard that before? A pupil?
No.
Okay, good. Or, kind of a more sophisticated definition would be one who has been taught or influenced by a famous or distinguished person. So that's a little bit more complex. Same idea though. So now you understand that there's another meaning or that surrounds pupil. The origin of this word is in late Middle English in the sense of orphan or ward. It's from Old French, from pupil, or Latin of pupillus. Diminutive of pupus meaning boy, pupil, diminutive of girl. So that's where that comes with the origin of a pupil being a student, a girl or a boy. So pupil. And then what you had said, pupil, the other one, the more complex, the simple version is a dark circular opening in the center of the iris of the eye. And this is diminutive of pupa, which is dull. So named from the tiny reflective image visible in the eye. So like you see a doll, that's where it comes from. That's the origin of the word. Now it says the dark circular opening in the center of the iris of the eye, varying in size to regulate the amount of light reaching the retina. So that's the kind of the simplistic version. The other one, or the contractural aperture in the iris of the eye. So that's kind of the more complex definition of the word pupil in those senses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two different sentences here, and I want to see. We're going to use that first sentence, and I'm going to add on to it and see if you can distinguish which one is which. Okay. So the English teacher had a hard time with her pupils. They were misbehaving on the field trip. So now, what do you think that would be? Now, if you're hearing that in that context, what does pupil mean from what we talked about?
Oh, a girl or a boy.
Right, so like a student. So they're misbehaving on a field trip. And how would you know that? How could you tell this? How do you know that that's not the iris one and that's actually student? What gives you the clues?
Because in the sentence you said something like we're misbehaving on the field.
Field trip, yeah, exactly. And that's your context clue. So that lets you know that, okay, it's actually pupil in the way of as a student instead of as the eye. Now, I'm going to give you another same thing using the first sentence. The English teacher had a hard time with her pupils again. She couldn't make out what it said on the street sign during the nighttime. Now, using that context, the second word, what do you think the pupil means in that?
The eye.
Exactly. And how did you know that?
Because it said that she couldn't see the stop sign at night.
Exactly, and that gives you clues to which
definition,
right.
Which each sentence makes sense.
Right. Okay, yeah. Good. Exactly. And that's how you can. But me just giving that first sentence, the English teacher had her time with her pupils. It could be either one, right? Because it could be your eyes, it could be your students. So you need more information surrounding it to get a better idea of what she's saying, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you take a look at two pictures, and then I want you to write your own sentences, including the word pupil, but provide enough information so that we can understand which of the drawings you were referring to, okay? So I'm going to give you two pictures, and then I want you to write two sentences using the word pupil, okay? Okay, so the first one, so write a sentence using this image for pupil.
Okay.
First one, write a sentence using the word pupil and with your pen and paper. Take a second to do that one. Pupil. Take your time, as long as you need. Okay, now I want to have you take a look at this picture and write another sentence using the word pupil, using this one. Another sentence with this picture using the word pupil. Go around another one. Go take your time to think about a sentence for pupil. That one is for the student, and this one is for the pupil. So you could, if you already wrote one for one, you can do one for the other for just each picture.
Oh yeah, I did this one.
Okay, so go ahead and do the one for this this picture. Okay. Using the word pupil. fine. Take your time, no problem. Just think of the word pupil, student, what it means, incorporate it in a sentence. It can be a simple sentence, it doesn't have to be a hard one or complex sentence. It can just be basic. Just think of this picture and see what it comes to mind about using the word pupil. Try something. Well, try something. You can try anything you want. It'd be okay. So here's my question. Now I'm going to read over these sentences real quick. The first one, she said she could not see because there was a problem with pupils, which is correct. That's right. That's another way to use the word pupils. Now your other sentence is the student had to have glasses to read her work because her pupils could not see. Okay, now my question is that kind of similar? Are they kind of the same thing, just using see?
Yeah.
Now what about the definition? What was the other definition of the word pupil besides the eye?
Oh crap.
It's okay. It's alright. It's fine. So we'll try and write one using that
This looks
idea.
like something like
No, it's okay. It's okay.
seen
So
a book or something.
right. So you got to use the definition of the idea of a student. So incorporate and make a
I
sentence.
messed up.
It's okay. So you can just go ahead, try one more time. That's not a problem. You just got to confuse. So because she does have eyes, it's focused on her eyes. So think of it. Remember that the definition of a student is a pupil. Okay, now go ahead and write read what you wrote.
The pupils were misbehaving during reading time.
Okay, perfect. So this example, she used the other meaning of the word pupil and used it correctly in a different sentence using different contexts. So we've kind of accomplished the idea of understanding. You can know the difference now for a pupil there's for the eye and pupil for what?
For boy and girl.
Right, for a student. Right, okay, good. For boy or girl, right.
I forgot about that.
No, that's fine. It's okay. Maybe I should have got it. My problem, I probably should have got a better picture so you'd understand that. Okay. Really quickly, I'm going to talk about the vocabulary strategy that I would use, and as far as in the readings. And I think that I like the idea of a graphic organizer strategy as a way to enhance the vocabulary of students simply because it allows the identification of new words and vocabulary in context of actual reading of relevant text by students themselves. And the words they come across aren't simply given to them, whether that be the word or its definition or the answer isn't simply given to them, but it creates an opportunity for them to use prior knowledge, their experiences, inferences, and context clues to figure what may be some of the possibilities for what the word actually means. I also believe that by having the students use evidence to quantify their assumptions is a great strategy to incorporate into their thought processes for both reading and writing. This basically equips them to be prepared to use logical rationale to reason on how and why specific or particular concepts or contents match their subsistence. I'm sorry, I can't even say the word right now. But basically, their theories. This sets them up to be able to apply these same strategies, structures, and processes in a similar fashion that mirrors the creation of persuasive or argumentative writing that utilizes evidence and research very similarly. Um, Another thing that I found also that works well even in this example was using context clues and then demonstration day as my primary strategy. This uses modeling, think alouds, classroom discussions, and sentence starters. But I think a concept wheel circle is also a good one for SPED classrooms, as it first introduces the words and content that the teacher can be scaffolded into a relatable manner. This type of catering of vocabulary can be beneficial because it allows for students to easily connect to the term without having to decipher it and the complexity of a text. The focus and intent can be just about the word itself with the help of students volunteering brainstorming session. This can create an array of similar words that pertain to the vocabulary word. This allows for differentiation and multiple entry points for students to connect to the vocabulary word in a variety of ways, i.e. like a picture of the word so you can associate it. And this concludes our vocabulary strategy with my guest, Brooklyn Morrison, number one daughter. And appreciate it. I hope you enjoy.